Okay, so all right, in this module we will see the domains, hosting, and servers, how exactly they work and what it is. Okay, so it's pretty simple. Now, for the domains, what is a domain? Domain is basically a name which we purchase. It can be anything, but it should be related to your business or anything service or a business you are providing. For example, google.com. Okay, so it helps people find your website easily. For example, as I told you that our web server have some public IP, so it's not really easy to remember all the IPs one by one. Like it can be, like the local host IP was like this, and we can public IPs can go with any number. So it's not possible for the humans to remember all the website IPs, hence domain does the work. Okay. So what we do that we will purchase a domain and we will assign that domain to our web server IP. Okay. So without a domain, user should need to remember an IP address. Now, what is hosting? So hosting is a place where users again we store our website files. Okay, it can be HTML, CSS, images, videos, and databases. So when someone opens our domain, hosting shows the website. So it's more like the same image which we had in our first module, that is understanding the web. Okay, now the server. So again, server is more like a powerful computer that runs 24/7, and it stores our websites and then it delivers them to the users through the internet. Okay, and so hosting companies use servers to host websites. So it's more like this. Okay, this is how it works. Like user types of domain and domain points to the server, and then the server loads the file, and then website appears in the browser. Okay, pretty much like the module number one, understanding the web. Same, but the more important thing is that the types of servers. we there are multiple server or hosting platforms or the companies which are providing the services, but we have to understand what kind of server can be useful for us in each use cases. So there are multiple types of servers. First one is a shared server or the shared hosting. What happens that there might be an a CPU or a computer or a server. Okay, it might be having a 2 GB RAM or 100 GB storage and two CPU core. Okay, this is our one single server. Now, what hosting providers or companies does that they will share this same server to 1,000 users. Okay, so that means or 100 users. So, for example, if I purchased a shared hosting, so what I will be doing that I will be using this CPU or the server which will be shared with the 100 users. That means with my website, other websites might also running on this server. So if other websites are getting higher traffic, then there are high chances that our website might get slow. Okay, it's more like sharing the resources of the CPU. Now there's a VPS server, okay, virtual private server, where it can also virtual private server or a dedicated server can be same. Like VPS server can work as a, in case there are different types of things people check. So for example, VPS servers, you can get a VPS server which can have a dedicated IP which will act as a dedicated server only. So what will happen that again this will be a big server where I will just remove the storage for now. So so we have 16 GB RAM and 8 CPU core. Okay, this is a big server. Now, what is a virtual private server? As that it will have multiple virtual servers. Okay, that means this one will, it's more like shared hosting, but it you will have specific GB of data or the resources. So for example, this will have 4 GB RAM and same as to the other two. Okay, and you will get two CPU cores from this course. So in case of dedicated server, what happens? So for example, if we have this as a main server, which will have the IP address of 192.168.1.0. Okay. Now, what will happen that these virtual private servers can have this almost same IP address. It can be a little bit of different like this. Okay, but in dedicated server or dedicated IP, we will get a dedicated IP. Like our IP address won't be shared with other resources or other people. Okay, that's the dedicated server. Now there is a fourth server that is called as cloud server. In cloud server, so there are major three companies which are into the cloud server. There are AWS, Google Cloud, and then Microsoft Azure. Okay, so what is a cloud server? So it's more like, so cloud server can be, it can be defined in multiple things, but cloud server is very useful for scaling or auto scaling or high uptime. So for example, if we decide to purchase a server with 4 GB RAM to CPU cores, okay, and we are getting n number of, and we are getting n number of traffic. Okay, so for example, we are getting 1,000 number of traffic on our server, and now we now 1,000 users, our server is not able to handle 1,000 users, right? Because it has some low resources, so we can't increase the uh, this resources every time we see the change in the number of traffic. It can go 5,000, 10,000, etc., etc. So there is auto scaling methods where what will happen that in case there is 5,000 users, this server will get increased to 6 GB RAM and 4 CPU cores as per the user requirement. In case it drops, it will again downgrade to the 4 GB RAM, 2 CPU cores. So we have to set it in the auto scaling, but again, this is how the cloud server works. Okay, there are multiple things in the cloud server such as CDN. Then so CDN is basically where, for example, we have a server in Mumbai. Okay, now if one of the user is ge- getting request or accessing our website from the US, okay, United States, and so see, for the Mumbai user, so if someone is from the India, website will be uh, website will open in just like few milliseconds. It can be 1 second, 2 second, but for United States guy it might take longer because of the distance. So in that case, CDN works, which is CDN, is also called as content delivery network. Okay, so what does it does that our cloud providers have different servers at different places. So for example, they might also have a server in US, they might also have it in UK. Okay, so what will happen that whatever files we have, it will store in all their global networks, and it will serve the files as per the user location. So for example, what will happen if someone is from United States is accessing our website, but if we have enabled or integrated CDN, it will give the files to United States guy from the US server. So the latency will be lower and the speed will be faster. Okay, so that is how the CDN works. I guess it went to the advanced level of stuff. But again, it's okay to understand the basics of advance, which will be 100% helpful in future. Okay, so those are the types of servers. Now, many hosting providers also give us the manage hosting or manage WordPress hosting, where we can check any type of hosting. Like for the cheaper rates, we can get shared hosting, uh, or somehow dedicated server for known use cases. But they give us manage WordPress hosting room. That means we see server is like a CPU, okay? And if you just take a cloud server, you will have to do all the things like like installing the web server, managing PHP, maintenance, security, etc., etc. But there are the hosting providers who give us manage WordPress hosting, where they manage all the things, and we just have to click and install the WordPress with few clicks, and they will do all the things. Now there are many major players in the market, but I will, in the next module, I will list down or tell you the good hosting providers for our use case, which is just installing the WordPress for just smaller amount of traffic or good amount of traffic, right? And we will see how we can host it, how we can integrate it with our domain, and then make the website live. So yeah, see you in the next module. And once we are done with that module, we will start building our final project, which can be a big amount of time taken, but yeah, it will be very useful. Okay, so see you in the next module. Thank you.